try gyms. Like I would go to the gym or something for a short amount of time, a couple of weeks. And I was always put off from gyms from the personal training side of things, is like they would kind of hound you about doing your free whatever, because they always offer like a free whatever. And then like you get kind of roped into doing something, and then the guy gives you like a really hard sell, or woman, or guy or gal gives you a really hard sell about like joining their personal training program. And I'm not like, especially like I'm getting better at it as I've gotten older, but like throughout my life, I've not always been the best at like saying no to that kind of stuff. So it would always that would always put me off from the gym, because I would get into like a relationship where they're like, you need to come in 5 days a week. And I'd be like, yeah, you're right. I do need to come in 5 days a week. And they'd sign me up for like, the highest package. And I couldn't have, for most of my life, I couldn't afford anything like that. I can't afford it now at most of these gyms. And 5 days a week is crazy.
Yeah, it gets expensive.
Yeah, it's very expensive. And so anyway, so like they would rope me in, and then I would feel like it would be like it would be hard to cancel. You would say like, I don't want to do it. And they're like, all right, well, you got to come in and you got to talk to my manager. And then, anyway, so I'm saying all that to say Crunch still does that part.
They still do that part.
Yeah. And I hate that. I hate that part. I think it's like the worst thing, because I think it pushes so many people away from the gym. But I never considered what they do better than the other gyms. And I think you're absolutely right about what you're saying, because that's what attracted us at first. Like when I wanted to do the gym for Next Level, is like they had the business partnerships, they had like events going on, they were at events a lot, they were like doing things with the fitness society, they were doing things over here, over there. And it just felt like, it was more like a community gym, more like they wanted you to be there. And they do a much better job with their social media. I mean, I think
I agree. Yeah.
For whatever it's worth, like it's not always like that consistent or whatever. Like I have some criticisms, but I think they do a good job.
Do better than most gyms.
In general, just sharing I think they do a good job of like sharing people's content. If you tag Crunch, in general, they'll share it to their story or something. Not just our Crunch, but any Crunch.
In
general, I found that for the most part, someone there will pop in and share it. It seems.
Yeah, they're pretty active.
But so I mean, I think they do a really good. You are right about that. I think they do a good job of like the community, but I still wish that they would just remove that part of the the hard sell for the training. I think it's just like the worst. But
I mean.
Go ahead.
Like I've been a member of Crunch since like 2016. I had one in my hometown. So when I came down to Melbourne and got a new membership, and they were like hounding me about doing my personal training, I'm like, I'm not new here. I've been to Crunch for years on end now. Like I already know what Crunch is like. Like, please stop. I already know. And they were like, you haven't done it yet. You haven't done your Kickstart. And I'm like, I don't want to do my Kickstart. Please leave me alone. Like, So it was like, it got to a point where I saw the same check-in lady every single day. So every time I walked in the gym, I was like, yes, it's her. She's not going to say anything. And then if like the trainers were sitting by her, I'd be like, oh shit, like they're going to say something today.
Yeah. And that's so horrible. Honestly, I think that's so horrible for the gym, because if you're like new, you're looking, I'm just saying from experience again, like I'm not, maybe other people don't have this, but for me, that would always create this. I stopped going to the gym, I don't know, maybe like 10 times because of that. Because
it causes like unnecessary anxiety, because you know that interaction, or you're not sure if that interaction is going to happen or not. And you're like, I don't feel like being hounded by a trainer. Like,
right, exactly.
And personally, if I look better than the trainer, you shouldn't be asking me that. In my personal opinion.
Well, I mean, I do think that like, there's a line where I don't really care anymore. Like if they look like generally healthy, but there is some. Don't appear to take their own advice, which I know what you mean there.
Yeah,
for sure. I think to me, like Crunch does a lot of things well. I think there's still like tons of room for improvement on that. Just as a gym goer, but from a marketing standpoint, they do really well. And I think they're gonna. We have, if anybody happens to watch this that's out of town or something, like locally here, we have a EOS gym opening across the street from the Crunch. And so that EOS gym is about, a lot of people are in my circle of gym friends. A lot of people are saying like, oh, EOS is gonna, eat Crunch's lunch. Crunch is going to go out of business, all this stuff. And I'm like, I don't think so. Like, I think I think they're going to rebound. I think they've done that math. I think they probably knew that there was going to be another.
Especially Wickham's classes. The success of Wickham is simply their classes and their personal training. So if like most personal training clients, like you have an established relationship, you're not just going to jump ship to a new trainer, right? Like you wouldn't just leave with Toby because EOS is opening, whatever.
Right.
So I think that is what's going to help them through this transition. I think they will lose a good chunk, but I think
they're going to lose tons of people
going to those classes. They're very loyal to those teachers. They have a good time. Like those classes are booked and busy at the Wickham.
And I think in general, like the community probably can support. Like my guess is that both of those companies that are growing, they're both growing really fast. EOS is opening quite a few over the next year too. And my guess is that they've done the math. This community has a ton of growth and they like know that this community can support 2 gyms. And I think it's probably like kind of like a McDonald's and a Burger King, or that's an old, at this point, that's an old reference now, probably more like a McDonald's and Starbucks. They just know like, yeah, we both sell coffee, but you know, we're going to be fine. Dunkin' Donuts and Starbucks. I don't know. There's probably a better metaphor. You get what I'm trying to say.
That's probably better.